Hello everyone and welcome to Hero RC. I'm Robert. I hope everyone is having a blessed day. I am so happy to be where I am right now, that's for sure. In frame, I've got my Ultimate Hauler 6. I've got the gas tanks off of it. I've got one here. And I kind of painted up, putting this as one coat over it. And I don't know if this is a good paint to use on it. I think it's like an art paint that I'm using. So I'm going to try something a little different to get that to be a little bit darker. And I see I missed a part there. But this is the, kind of give you an idea where I'm going with this. I got the louvers painted black. And I think just being black, they look much better. Yeah, that looks much better. Haven't done anything to the mirrors yet. I'll mess with them a little later. This project has really turned out to be very, very tedious. And I'm going to stick to it until I get it done. But that's one of the boxes I painted. And my other gas tank, I went to tape it around here so that I could paint this color here red without, spilling over. And the paint came off with the tape. So, I don't know. I had to take it back out there and repaint it and see what happens with that. Kind of think I didn't put any primer on it. I don't know what the deal is, but I'll keep jacking with her until I get her done. Just happy that I have other vehicles I can drive and have fun with. And also I got this light kit that purchased on eBay to go over the gas tank to add a little flare. They're yellow lights. It's a LED light, 2 light bars, and they'll go on each side of the gas tank, and they'll light up yellow. And these are the covers that'll go over this here. Right now I'm in the process of communicating back and forth with Easy Boy RC. He purchased a nice little printer he got for Christmas last year, and that is what I'm looking to get, because something like this I could 3D print myself, man. I just gotta figure out the dimensions and all of that, put it in there, plug it into it, and print it up is the way I'm thinking. Like the mirrors here, these are 3D printed. You can tell. I can make stuff like that myself and be very creative with my own vehicle. So, communicating back and forth with him about that. Excuse me. Woo. And we'll see what happens with that. But I'm definitely going to get a 3D printer. All of my other stuff for Christmas has pretty much, I think the last few things I looked up and looked at it on the computer are coming in today, and then I will be done with Christmas, other than taking care of my grandson, which he is easy, and my mom and dad, they're easy. I don't have to worry about them, but they'll be the only ones I'll have to worry about, and I have everything done. Everything. I've got 4 new vehicles that I'll have for Christmas. 2 of them are already here, and I'm waiting on 2. So with that many vehicles, I'm going to play a eeny, meeny, miny, mo and open one of them. Once I get all 4 of them here, I'm going to decide which one I'm going to open before Christmas and, do a RTR run and see what I'm going to do with it. But I'm going to do a run before it gets dark at 6:45. It'll probably be dark in about another hour and 15 minutes. So let me present the vehicle that I'm going to run today. Alright, that's the vehicle there that I'm going to take out for a run. It is my Atlas tow truck, or Atlas FMS CX-10 Atlas converted to a tow truck. Let me get the remote. Alright, I got the remote and we are ready to roll. This is my FCX-10 Atlas. I call it Blue Boy. I converted it to a tow truck, but it's not like really a 100% tow truck because I hadn't figured out, well, I have kind of figured out somewhat how I'll be able to tow. I gotta give me a 3D printer and create some stuff, man. Get creative. I've had this build. If you go back and look at some of my old videos, I've had this build. I've been working on this build for, oh my God, months now. I'd have to go back and look. But as you can see, it's an Atlas and it's creeping. It's got a fusion in it. All of my vehicles eventually are going to have fusions in them. Because I love the modulation, man. I love it. And I'm going to creep up on my wide bed super hauler here. That's why I love this hobby, man. You can just be as creative as you freaking want to if you can afford it. You know what I mean? I'm not rich, and I you know, me and my wife work hard. We do pretty good. And this is what I choose to spend my allowance on. My vehicles. I mean, this is just amazing to me. I love it. It's like real stuff, but at a smaller scale. You know what I mean? Because this is not for your 5-year-old or your 6-year-old or 7-year-old, 8-year-old. Now, this is for teenagers and adults, man. I mean, it can be pretty complex. As you can see, I've got the winch on the back of it back there. And like I said, I've been working on it for months now. I got everything pretty much working on it. And this is the remote to the winch. I think I paid $30 for the winch setup. And see, it works. Now I'll let it go. Well, I want to keep it tight and snug though. Yeah, I love it. It's nice. But like I said, you know how tow trucks have the part down here at the bottom where you can set the vehicle into it while the hook holds it on? That's what I need. And I need to 3D, that's why I need a 3D printer, because I could do that kind of stuff myself. I looked online for something like that and I couldn't find it. I found them for the ultimate hauler here, you know, fenders. And that's what I want to do with this, is I want to put some fenders over the outside of it and make it a dually. Yeah, blast it out like a dually. You know, most pickup trucks, tow trucks are dualies, but you know, that's just kind of, this is gonna be a long video and I don't care. I'm having fun. I love it. I've been, you know, this is my stress reliever, man. I'm telling you, work just drives me freaking nursing. Whoo! If anybody knows anything about it, I work at a nursing home. Either way, it doesn't matter where you work, unless you work in the office, you know, with a doctor or something. But if you're dealing with people on a constant basis, it is something else, you know. And then you have to, and it's just not the residents you have to deal with, man. But I'm not even going to get into that. But yeah, I want to make this bad boy a dually, and you know, make it a true tow truck. So this is the one I'm going to cruise today. We're going to go over, and also it rained pretty good last night and today, so I wasn't able to get out and work on my fence. The runoff is pretty wet right now, and what I do is I hook my trailer up to my John Deere tractor and drive it over there to on the runoff, and that's how I work on my fence on that side. But it's wet over there right now, and I don't want to get bogged down over there any kind of way. So I decided that I would work on my course over there. So I started digging a little bit, you know, and, you know, on the trench, working on the trench and trying to figure out, you know, what I was going to do with it. And we'll go over and cruise and look at that, and then we'll hit Trot Trail course, have some fun. So I will see you on the flip side. Alright, here we are back on the flip side with the Atlas. take you down the stairs like I always do. And I did put different shocks on this vehicle. Articulation isn't all that great, but it does handle nicely. The wheels on it are off of the alternate hauler. I don't know if you could tell that, and they look perfect on here. Alright, let's take it over this one little obstacle here. Nice modulation. I couldn't tell you if it was the 1200 or the 1800 in here though. I'd have to look at the notes, get everything wrote down. Nice modulation. See what kind of power she has. Woo, baby. Nice. Alright, here we are at the rock pile. Let's see what happens. Yeah, and this one needs a tow winch hinge. A tow winch on the front, which I will put on eventually. Got several in there. When I buy a lot of things like winches and light kits, I buy in bulk. See, the articulation is not very great on this. Turning radius isn't that great, but it is a nice performing truck. I'm glad to have it a part of my fleet. I'd say this pile of rocks is probably about 3 feet high. You know, the Atlas is a one-speed vehicle, 4-wheel drive. No diffs or anything like that, but performs nicely, I think. All right, let's get over to the future site trail course. All right, here we are. Let the vehicle do the touring for us. We're gonna cross the moat there, which is only half as wide as it's going to be, but it's as deep as it's going to be. We got some roots there, so we're going to have to figure something out with those. But yeah, I just need to do another scoop all the way around to make it wide enough for the vehicles to cruise around in there. And right here where it's about to end, this will be the exit or entrance to the moat. Now if I want to run a vehicle around it, and then over a little bit further, there's another exit or entrance point there. So, and then everything else around will be like rocks and ridges, and you know, I'm gonna have an area up here where if I bring several vehicles out, I can park them over there, you know, just in rocks and stuff like that. But everything is going to have to be covered first. I got some ground cover I'm going to put over most of it. Well, the part on the far end there, that's going to be like a little picnic area. But just in front of that, that part there, all of that is going to be, you know, incorporated into the crawler course rocks or whatever, you know. So just to kind of give you an idea where we at. I got out here today and did a little digging. You know, couldn't work on the fence, so thought I'd get out here and work on this a little bit. And I've got tons of bricks that I can use to make this work. And you saw how she traveled through that. That's gonna be nice. A little water in there. I gotta figure out, and I'm gonna put some heavy plastic down and maybe put cement over that heavy plastic so the water would stay a lot longer. I know it'll probably eventually evaporate or sink into the ground with leaks and stuff over time, and it'll be perfect for this tree right here, keeping water, and we'll have a nice shade area here. So it's all working out pretty good. I think it's gonna be pretty nice. I haven't got all the details figured out yet, but it's kind of the idea that I'm going with. And then I want to incorporate this into it some kind of way, have water flowing up under it, or maybe just have it as a bridge aside and maybe have to build a bridge across there. But I want the bridge to be tall enough to where the vehicles can go up under it, so you know, you have a complete circle on the moat. So that's kind of where we are. Let's head on over to Trot Trail course. I'll tell you what, this thing is pretty quick for a single speed. Whoops. Didn't mean to do that. Uno momento. Alright, here we are at Trot Trail course in the daytime for a change. Don't have to turn any lights or anything on. We can just cruise. Let's have some fun. And these tires, man, they are awesome. I love it. Now I got a bunch of tires in there that came off of Traxxas vehicles that are, I think, are pretty good. I think what I'm going to do is probably, the only thing I hate is that they're glued on, so I'm going to have to, I've got the chemical to take them off of the plastic rims, and I'll be able to use them on other vehicles, you know, or use them in the future for something else. But yeah, they're nice tires. Nice drag brake, nice modulation. Just need to work on the articulation. Easy Boy has got some 70 millimeters out there that he gets off of eBay for about 20 plus bucks. I got a few of them, and as a matter of fact, I've got them on this one. If you look close there, they're black. Yeah, but these vehicles, I don't know. I think there's a way. Oh, you know what? I bought shock towers for these Atlases. And I'm going to experiment. I have so much going on, I forget, man, you know. But I'll eventually go through the packages and see what I'm doing. But yeah, I got shock towers for these to be able to put taller shocks on it. And use the droop action. Oh man, I think that will set it off. Here we go. Let's see how she does without the, look at that, tires grabbing nicely. Those are some nice tires, man. Let's see if we can beat that center of gravity there. Not center of gravity, where it bottoms out at. Look at that. Boy. That was nice. That was very nice. Tires grabbed. Alright, let's get over to Blackpot Hill. You know, it's funny how you could take a cheaper vehicle that's quality made and turn it into something beastly. Let's see how this does. I've taken it over this before. Yeah, I've got it on YouTube. I've noticed that people don't like to go back and look at your videos. They watch what's going on now. And turning radius isn't all that great. Okay, we're starting to lose balance there. That back tire, driver's tire was coming out. The rear driver tire. Everything. Back tire is off again. See, that's due to lack of articulation. You see that? Those springs will drop down, give you more of a droop where the tires can stay contacted. See, an awesome beast. But look at it. Look at it. No weight in the front. And look at it. Man, that is crazy. Alright. Those tires are amazing, I'm telling you. Alright, let's do the descent and see how that works. Remember, there's no weights on this vehicle whatsoever. I think the best thing about this vehicle is the fusion and the tires. Look at the drag brake, amazing. And it just kicks right back on in. Look at that. And it's got the original opinion gear on it. Finally found some 23s. They had them on sale at Tower Hobby for $5. I got 4 of them for $25, man. Alright, here we go. I haven't tried them on anything yet, but look at it. Touch the trigger and she rolls. This one doesn't need any changes. I think if I go to adding weight or anything like that to it, I don't think a winch would make a difference, but if I start adding weight, serious weight to it, I think that would change the dynamics of this vehicle. But right now, she's sweet. Look at that. Just as sweet and smooth as can be. Alright, we're going to do the center of gravity thing. Okay, I turned it over off video trying to maneuver it around this to where I can get in position here to do this center of gravity thing. But if it had better turning radius, whew, this thing would be nice, man. It would be really nice. I like the body design. I like the scaleness of it. It's really nice. Alright, I want to get that driver's side tire to hook up over that. Look at that back tire up in the air there. To hook up over that brick up top there. See if we can go up that way. Back tire is off the ground. Alright, there we go. That's what I wanted. See what happens from there. Front tire's in the air. Ooh. I don't know. This is going to be kind of rough. Because that back tire still has to go up on that brick. Slow modulation. See what happens. Yeah, she'll turn over. I can see that already. This might help it. Alright, we're going to start from that brick. See what happens. See if going up higher helps. A little bit better, but there is a different line I could have picked. Alright, we're going to bring her around a little bit lower this time and see what happens. It's already lifting in the front. We get in trouble right here. And he knocked over knockaways. Yeah, that's a pretty hard line right there. Unless you got some very good flexing going on. It's a hard line right there. and really test your flexing and center of gravity. See, all wheels are not planted. See if we can bring it down. Look at that driver, passenger side tire flex under there. I love it. Love to see everything doing the best it can to make this vehicle get through an obstacle. Everything working together the best it can. Alright. And this vehicle has to be able to get through obstacles like this if it's going to be a rescue vehicle, you know. It's going to have to be able to get through difficult terrain like this. I hit that a little bit higher than I wanted to on the driver's side, but I think it's going to be okay. Nice. Very nice. Alright. Let's get to Shovel Bridge. Yeah. The only thing this one needs is a better articulation, and it would be... I don't think I can do anything else with the steering radius. I'd have to watch some videos to see if there's anything better out there. Because the way that servo is mounted in there, it's crazy. But I know it's worth every penny. All right. There we go. Look at that, boy. Now, if it didn't have that nice drag brake, it would make it difficult to get over this obstacle here. But that drag brake helps a lot, because you get up there, and well, drag brake and the modulation, because if you get in that position, you want it to stop so you can have control of the vehicle. You want to be able to have control anyway. And with the herky-jerky and no drag brake, that would have been rough. That back there, that Shovel Bridge would have been rough. Alright, let's see how she does at Big Rock here. I don't think we can come right off the bridge and go onto it, but maybe at a wicked angle. Just grabbing there. Alright, there we go. A little bit of dig there. It's just a turning radius. If it had a better turning radius, it wouldn't be a problem. Might get a little bit here. Let's see. Tires are doing their thing though. Get her lined up right here. I've always got to watch my screen to make sure where I'm at if I'm in pause or recording. And I sprayed some rabbit repellent out here, and I haven't seen the rabbit, so maybe that repellent really works. Here we go. I don't know what they put in it. It stinks, I know that, but I don't know what they put in it. Alright, baby. Let's see if we can do this. We want that... Get everything set right, and then we want that passenger tire to drop on that big brick over there, and that would make for a smooth transit, just like that. Smooth transition. Nice. Very nice. Now, like I said, articulation, and I'm going to work on that. We'll set this off. Maybe with those shock towers, I would be able to put some Desert Lizards on it. At least some 90s anyway. Boy, this thing is nice. Alright, we're already at 29 minutes. I have so many other obstacles out here I can go over. But most fans don't like the long videos, but I mean, the weather's getting to the point now where I'm going to be out here for You know, at least a good hour of video. Just rolling through my course here, testing my vehicles. You know, I get a lot of them to a certain point, then I'll stop and move on to something else. Oh, how did that happen? Boy, for a rescue vehicle, this one has needed more rescuing than any vehicle I've driven out here. But like I was saying, I'll get to a certain point on them and I'll stop. You know, because this one is satisfactory, but it could be better. That's for sure. It could be a lot better. And I look at them all as investments, you know. On down the road, I could probably sell this one for a good $400. Just as is. You know. It's got great control. And that's the main thing. It's got a winch on it. Nice tires on it. We're gonna back it up to After Run Rock. Look at that modulation. Who wouldn't want that, man? Get the articulation right, and then the steering. Who would not want this? This is nice, man. Very nice. Not that I'm thinking about selling it. I'm just saying, you know, all remote control cars, mine are anyway, are investments. You know, something happens, I need some quick cash, bam, put one on the market for a few $100, you know. My better ones, even more. But there you have it. Blue Boy, converted. Christmas, I'm gonna get me a 3D printer, like I said. I'm working on that, and I'll be able to finish this puppy off and make it look like a true classic tow truck. Like I always say, folks, much, much, much more to come. Thanks for your comments. Thanks for liking. Thanks for subscribing. Even though I don't think I'm going anywhere with this other than having fun, it would be nice to have an epic video that gets me a bunch of views. But that's way down the road, man. Anything that I think might be epic is way down the road. So, love your subscriptions. We all have something in common. And folks, take care.